All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for the May 6th Planning Commission working session. Director Russell, would you like to get us started?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the May 6th meeting of the Portsmouth Planning Commission, and we have 3 public hearing items that we would like to brief commissioners on this evening. I'd like to remind the audience that the work session is for commissioners to dialogue and speak about the cases, and the members of the public who are present, unless directed by the chair, will not have an opportunity to speak at this meeting. And so our first public hearing item is use permit 2324 by Grossman Trucking LLC. They request a use permit to operate a shipping container chassis storage yard at 680 Military Highway. The property is zoned light industrial. Mrs. Malzone will make the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Valerie Malzone. I'm a principal planner with the City of Portsmouth. So the first application before you today is a use permit request to operate a shipping container chassis storage yard at 680 Military Road. The subject property is located near the intersection of Victory and Deep Creek Boulevard. The site is approximately 2.3 acres in size and is zoned light industrial, or IL. The site is surfaced with gravel and is completely enclosed with 6-foot chain link fencing. The applicant leases a majority of the parcel from the property owners. A 6,600 square foot sublease area at the center of the property is utilized by a separate business and is not part of this use permit application request. The surrounding area consists of residential and industrial uses. Industrial uses zoned light industrial, or IL, are located to the north and west of the subject property. Single-family and multifamily residences zoned multifamily urban residential, or URM, are located to the south and east of the property. The shipping container chassis storage yard use is currently operating on the property. In November 2023, the property owners were issued a zoning violation notice for operating the non-permitted use on the property. The applicant is requesting a use permit for the after-the-fact authorization of the use to remediate this violation and continue trucking operations at the location. The applicant's operation, Grossman Trucking LLC, is a family-owned trucking business that functions to receive, store, and forward cargo from the Port of Virginia. The business operates 16 trucks. Shipping containers are stored on the property overnight and remain on chassis and are not stacked. Most shipping containers remain on the property for less than 24 hours. The shipping container chassis storage yard consists of 2 shipping container storage areas, shown in orange above, and 2 truck parking areas, shown in green. The applicant plans to pave the entrance drive and secure the entrance with a sliding gate that will be open during the day and closed and secured after hours. The applicant also plans to establish a Type D opaque landscape buffer at the southern border of the property where it abuts single-family residential uses, and that's shown in blue. No off-street vehicle parking is required for the use. The site is accessed from one entrance along Military Road. A traffic impact analysis, or TIA, was not required for the use since the engineering department determined that a maximum of 75 trips per day would not significantly impact the surrounding traffic network. The proposed truck traffic route is shown here. Trucks enter the site by making a right off Victory Boulevard onto Military Road and then turning right into the site, shown in blue. And then when trucks exit the site, drivers turn right onto Military Road, then take a left onto Deep Creek toward the intersection of Deep Creek and Victory. They may turn left or right onto Victory depending on their destination, and that's shown in red. A military housing complex and additional residential uses are located on Deep Creek Boulevard north of Victory Boulevard. As described, the proposed truck traffic route would not impact this section of Deep Creek Boulevard. However, Planning Department staff have conditioned the proposed truck route as part of approval of the use permit to ensure that the residential uses here remain minimally affected by trucking operations. Staff have also recommended conditioning the applicant's proposed 75 trips a day to minimize impacts to the surrounding traffic network. Shipping container chassis storage yard facilities generally provide little in the way of capital investment and job creation. The most desirable use of industrial zoned parcels in the city are those that support manufacturing, distribution, research and development, and warehousing. These have a greater economic impact and benefit to citizens. Some concerns associated with operating a storage yard at this location include noise associated with truck traffic in early morning hours and the traffic associated with the trucking operations. With the recommended conditions, planning staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request. The future land use map of the Build on Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designates this parcel as part of a mixed-use corridor. Planning staff finds that the proposed use is appropriate at this location and meets several goals of the city's comprehensive plan. In addition, the use will not significantly impact the surrounding traffic network. To date, the planning department has received 2 public comments regarding this application. They were distributed to everyone prior to the meeting. One concern raised in a public comment was that the proposed apron encroaches onto the neighboring property. In response to this comment, the applicant has submitted a new conceptual site plan, and we have amended the conditions to reference the new site plan. Those were also distributed to you prior to the meeting. This concludes my presentation, and I will now stand by for any questions.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
I have a question. So I'm in support of this. Like you said, that this application supports maritime and logistics businesses. What I'm interested in is, as you mentioned, the most desirable use is supporting manufacturing, R&D, warehousing, and distribution uses. Since the comprehensive plan has been published, how many applications have we received that advance those initiatives there? Do you know?
Like, are you specifically asking how many shipping container chassis storage yards have been approved, or just maritime logistic uses?
The uses for, I suppose, R&D, supporting manufacturing, distribution
Oh, I see.
for this type.
Do not have data on that readily available, but that's something that we could potentially compile, but we do not have those numbers.
And I only ask because it may be great to attain that, because I mean, this is only the second time I've seen a similar application like that. But if the owners of these lands are not aware that these are the best benefits for the city of Portsmouth, maybe they just don't know that they can lease it to these members. I mean, I see it as an easy win for them to get their application approved and a benefit for the city of Portsmouth. So I guess it's something to take a look at to attain numbers. And if the numbers are low with those type of things, maybe better for us to inform them so that we can, have a win or have other strategies to promote that. I know it's up to the favor of who they lease the land to and whatnot, but it would be great if we could have some of these things, especially R&D. So that's all I have.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
May I make a
Director.
comment? Mr. Melvin, I'm not sure I understand your question. It sounded like it was almost a 2-part question, where you said how many of this specific use permit request have been approved
So, yes.
and consistent with the comp plan. That's the piece that
So you said the most desirable use of the industrial zone sites will be those that support manufacturing, research and development, warehousing, and distribution. This application here supports, mentioned here, maritime and logistic businesses.
understood.
So how many applications have we had that supported manufacturing, R&D, warehousing, and distribution when it came to industrial zoning in this case?
So we can certainly provide that information. But the reason I attuned to your comment about compliance with the comprehensive plan is because if a proposed use is not compliant with the comprehensive plan, we are likely not going to, as a staff, recommend approval of the use. Doesn't mean it won't subsequently be approved, but we would be hard pressed to justify an approval that wasn't consistent with the comprehensive plan recommendations. And then the other part of that is that this specific type of use and use permit, we've had lots of them. I mean, it's a very frequent request. So if not every month, it's every other month, there's at least one. So I just wanted to add that to Mrs. Malzone's comments.
Okay, because this is, at least for me being on the planning commission, this is my second time that I've seen where a someone wants to lease out for their storage, for their containers and whatnot. And like you said here before, the best desirable sites would be to support manufacturing R&D. And I haven't seen that, so I'm just wondering how many applications do we usually get when it comes
Yeah,
type.
we can get the number, right, maybe 24 forward.
And I'd like to add too that Planning Commission would not necessarily hear those applications for research and development, manufacturing, distribution, because those are often permitted by right in these areas.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Commissioners, any additional questions? Yeah, I'm Commissioner Melba, I do want to say thank you for that question, and Planner Malzone, thank you for the clarification about through use or through right. I do think it's key that as we work closer with our economic development partners, that we do find out some of that information, even if not within this meeting, just offline, so they can provide us some statistics on what kind of businesses are coming, so that as the Planning Commission, we understand the impact that our approvals are having. I think that is a very great point. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, our next public hearing request is use permit 2504, and it is a request by Ms. Ashby to operate an event space banquet hall at 6031 High Street West. The property is zoned general mixed use GMU. Mrs. Malzone will make the presentation.
Hello again, I'm Valerie Malzone. I'm a principal planner with the City of Portsmouth. And the next application before you today is a use permit request to operate an event space banquet hall at 6031 High Street West. The subject property is in the Churchland area of Portsmouth in the general mixed use or GMU zoning district. The parcel is approximately 2.4 acres in size and contains the City Line Plaza Shopping Center, which consists of two one-story commercial buildings that were constructed in 1965. The applicant's site is a 4,300 square foot building with a rear patio located at the center of the property. It shares a parcel with a multi-unit building that contains various commercial uses, including personal services, retail sales, and restaurant uses. The surrounding area consists largely of commercial uses with retail sales uses predominating. Commercial properties zoned general mixed use or GMU surround the subject property to the north, east, and south. Additional properties within the City of Chesapeake, which are commercial in nature, are located to the west. The proposed event space will consist of 2,600 square feet of assembly space, shown in blue, an outdoor patio, shown in orange, 3 restrooms. I'd like to let you know that that is a correction from what was in your staff report, which says 2. There are 3, shown in purple, and a full kitchen, which is in green. A preliminary estimate of the building's capacity is 181 occupants. The event space will be available to rent for a variety of private events, including weddings, birthday and anniversary parties, graduation parties, holiday events, and other community events. Entertainment may include DJ, live band, and karaoke. The applicant proposed hours of operation are each day of the week from 8 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock a.m. The applicant plans to utilize a portion of the existing parking lot to provide the 18 off-street vehicle parking spaces required to operate an event space banquet hall of this size. The proposed event space in Portsmouth will function independently while also supporting an existing event space the applicant operates in Chesapeake, mostly with food preparation. Planned improvements are interior and include epoxying the floors, painting, changing lighting fixtures, and installing new equipment in the restrooms and kitchen. The north side of the building currently has an attached non-conforming roof sign, which is a sign that extends above the roof line of the building. It faces High Street West. Planning Department staff have recommended replacing the sign to meet the standards of the zoning ordinance as a condition of approval of the use permit to ensure compatibility with the surrounding commercial uses. Zoning ordinance compliant signs could include a variety of attached freestanding and attached signs, including wall signs, window, monument, or ground signs. Planning Department staff have also recommended conditioning the hours of operation from 8 a.m. to midnight each day of the week to maintain consistency with other requests for event space banquet halls in the area. With the recommended conditions, staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request. The future land use map of the Build One Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designates this property as commercial. The proposed use is consistent with the recommendations of the city's comprehensive plan and is appropriate at this location. The proposed event space will utilize a vacant structure along a main roadway. To date, no public comments have been received regarding this application. The proposed conditions have been modified to specify the conditioned hours of operations would only apply to an event space banquet hall use. I will now stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Malzone. Question. If you go back to the breakdown, I just want to verify, when you said it's 3 restrooms, that top one is 2 restrooms, right?
This is one.
Yeah,
Which I
okay.
missed when I was reviewing
Okay.
it, and then when I was color coding them, I went, there are 3.
I was like, I just see 2 purple squares. Where was the third? And then I looked a little closer. Okay, no, thank you. Commissioners, any additional questions? Okay, great, thank you. On to the last one.
Okay. Our third public hearing is use permit 2505. It is a request by C. Hoggins to operate an entertainment establishment at 1805 Hodges Ferry Road in the general mixed-use GMU zoning designation. Good job.
All right, good afternoon, Planning Commissioners. My name is Patrice Branch, and I'm a planner with the City of Portsmouth. UP 2505 is a request for a use permit to operate an entertainment establishment as a part of an existing restaurant located at 1805 Hodges Ferry Road. The subject parcel is approximately 0.38 acres and is zoned general mixed use. The existing one-story building was constructed in 1962 and is approximately 3,100 square feet in size. An existing parking lot surrounds the building with 32 parking spaces. The unit has 1 primary entrance at the front for ingress and egress, along with 2 exits and a rear door. The surrounding area consists of commercial and residential uses. Commercial uses zoned general mixed use are located to the north, east, and south of the subject property. Residential uses such as single-family dwellings, zoned general residential or GR, and urban residential, UR, are situated to the far north and west. The proposed entertainment establishment will operate as a part of an existing restaurant and will feature live entertainment such as a DJ, music performances, comedy shows, open mic nights, sports viewings, karaoke, and private celebration events. An approved use permit is required to operate an entertainment establishment within the general mixed-use zoning district. The restaurant currently operates Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. The applicant is proposing to operate the live entertainment Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. and Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. On nights when the entertainment is scheduled, the applicant plans to implement multiple safety precautions, including employing 4 certified security personnel, 2 who will patrol the interior, and 2 who will be stationed on the entrance to check IDs, screen patrons, and manage foot traffic. According to the applicant's narrative, security personnel will remain on site until the last guest and staff has safely exited the premise. Additionally, the building is monitored inside and outside by security cameras. Entertainment events will be limited to patrons 25 years and older and will require a business casual or fashionable dress code. The applicant plans to minimize noise by ensuring music and amplified sound remains indoors. The applicant narrative states that loitering, outdoor music, and congregating outside the building during events will not be permitted. The security team will manage the foot traffic at the entrance and exits to reduce noise spillover. On April 28th, planning staff met with neighbors on site and have received numerous public comments. These comments were either included as a part of your staff report packet or were provided to you as part of the work session materials. The public expressed concerns regarding potential incompatibility, use incompatibility, increased noise levels, parking and traffic impacts, and issues related to safety and security. Staff has considered these conditions given the property's proximity to residential areas and have recommended conditions to address and mitigate them. These recommended conditions included but are not limited to regulations on entertainment hours, capacity limits, compliance with the local noise ordinance, parking restrictions, and procedures for reporting violations, and the requirement of a submittal of a security plan prior to operating. Planning staff recommends approval of the applicant's request to operate an entertainment establishment as a part of existing restaurant with conditions. The future land use map of the Build One Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designates the subject property as part of the mixed-use corridor. The proposed addition of an entertainment establishment to the existing restaurant aligns with the goals of the comprehensive plan by supporting the reuse of an existing commercial structure. The property has limited potential for significant redevelopment without consolidation with the adjacent parcels. Therefore, by incorporating entertainment as a complementary use, the property viability as a commercial use is potentially strengthened by the expansion of revenue-generating opportunities. This concludes my presentation, and I'll stand by for any questions or comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Branch. Commissioners, any questions? Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you go back one slide, please?
Sure.
So reading through the application, you mentioned that there's 32 parking spaces.
Correct.
And that they have sufficient off-street parking.
Yes.
Where would the off-street parking be? And I only ask that because just looking at concerns from the members of this neighborhood, they believe that the parking is going to be throughout the neighborhood and streets and whatnot. Is that correct, or?
So we did include a condition that will limit parking to the parcel or private parking only, so they wouldn't be able to park on the street.
So nothing down Arnold Palmer Drive?
Yeah, that's
or
a part of the condition.
Hodges Ferry Road? Okay, so where would that parking be, just
It will
for?
be on the, so you have parking here, here, all the way around, and then parking right here.
Okay, so nothing on those roads, nothing on Airline Boulevard?
Correct.
Okay. And then another complaint was that having an entertainment establishment will decrease the property taxes in this area. Is that true?
I'm not too sure on that.
Is that a trend that's happening with entertainment?
Can I?
Yes, please.
Mr. Melvin, the impact on property value, impact on taxes is related to property values, and that it's a ratio between the sales and price per square foot, right? And so prices can be impacted by the maintenance of adjacent uses, but we don't anticipate solely because of the use in this or any case that the properties would decline.
That's all I wanted to hear, because
Okay. Understood.
people in the neighborhood. And then the last thing is that people always mention that entertainment venues bring crime to the area and the surrounding neighborhood. Do we have a report in the city of Portsmouth that shows crime rates for pertaining to entertainment establishments? And I only ask that because, yeah, more people, you say more crime, but without the data, I'm not really sure how much crime or if any is coming to that area, right? So we need something to compare it to, because if, for example, the crime rate is 20 crimes per 100, and then the crime rate for entertainment establishment is 23 per 100, I mean, it's negligible at that point. So just, I guess, having a study about the entertainment establishments in the city of Portsmouth and what the crime rate is around those areas compared to other non-establishments would be great. So that's just some of the concerns I see here from the neighborhood that I just wanted you all to address so that we can better learn from this. And then another member mentioned that about drinking and driving and low security and lower police officers. I believe in the package it said that there would be 4 security guards.
That they're hiring, it will be 4.
And then I didn't see anything from the police department. Would this increase?
We did not receive any comments back from the police department regarding
Okay.
this case.
Okay. Just wondering if this would increase more presence or more work for them or whatnot, but I know that's part of the job, so just wanted to touch on those points. And happy to hear from what my fellow peers have to mention about this as well.
They're in the council
Thank
chambers
you.
for the public hearing. This is the work session.
Any other questions in the work session?
With the private security, let's make sure that the condition is that they have approval for legalized carrying of weapons through the state of Virginia's department that issues those type of permissions. I think you know what I'm referring to, attorney. You know, you can go through that training process so that you're legally able to carry a weapon as a part of the security of a particular business. For example, when I was on the housing authority, it wasn't just a matter of having security. You wanted to have the best security, and the best security of those who have that license that I think is issued by the circuit court by way of the state of Virginia. You can research it further, but I'm pretty clear on that. It's not just a matter, I mean, you can say you just want security, but you want the best security. It's not that we're lobbying for everyone to have a weapon, but you want the best security because you want crowd control. Crowd control without having to draw a weapon. Not a rent-a-car that doesn't have a weapon, but you want crowd control so that people, when they see that security, they give it the respect that it is deserving of. And that protects the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jiggins. Yes, sir.
Other questions? Someone else mentioned, is this going to be a nightclub?
So they're operating as a restaurant. They're just trying to add live entertainment.
So not a nightclub?
Right.
Okay. And then another person mentioned that the recommendations made by the planning staff, starting with conditions 1I, 1, 2, and 1, 3, are not plausible. Do you all have any? I know we got like 40 of these complaints, like the last second, but I'm just reading through them really quick, trying to discuss them, but we can pass this down here.
It's speaking to the zoning ordinance, the noise proofing, sound, unlawful excessive sound. I mean, it's what the laws are that it really speaks to there. So, I mean, I do question how, yes, it's highly plausible. I mean, it is what the code and ordinance is. Section 40.2-217, it's basically saying unreasonable environments such as noise, odor, smoke, vibration, heat, or glare. Establishment to comply with city code for excessive noise. And any buildings should have soundproof entryway and exit doors. So it's highly plausible. It's done by many other businesses throughout the city. So,
Yep, I just want to mention it because not a lot of people may have not read the packet
Yeah.
beside us. So I just bring this forth so that you are realizing we can just get it on public record and just looking through all of these things that people have problems with. As I mentioned, they said that, conditions 1I, 1, 2, 1, 3 were not plausible, but you are saying otherwise because you're the experts. So I just wanted to know how, if you all had anything to say about that. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
It's me?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, may I read?
Yes.
So without limitation, the development shall ensure and maintain compliance with the following use-specific standards. Entertainment establishments shall not create unreasonable environmental aspects such as noise, odor, smoke, vibration, heat, or glare. Noise from the establishment shall comply with City Code Section 24-255. unlawful excessive sound. Any building housing live entertainment shall include soundproof entryways and exit doors. So that's what you, Commissioner G, just read. And so items 1, 3, regarding the soundproofing and entryways, we can ensure compliance with that through their CO and building permits. So that goes through that review from our inspections department. Noise violations are evaluated by reading the noise. I mean, because I need the word, I can't find the word. I know what it's.
The DBA.
But the instrument.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The- Yeah, see,
we have one.
right. So we can determine compliance with those provisions.
So would there
I
be a
think
lot
that's
of
the answer
noise in the
to the-
neighborhood from this entertainment establishment?
Well, the conditions act to try to ensure that there is not an off-site impact relative to noise or odor. And if there is, then, and it's not remediated or addressed, the use permit can be revoked
Okay.
by subsequent action of the council.
And thank you, Dr. Russell. Can you speak to number 17? They said that wasn't possible as well.
From 1 hour prior to commencement of the entertainment use until 1 hour after cessation of the entertainment use, parking for patrons and staff of the establishment shall be strictly limited to on-site parking at 1805 Hodges Ferry Road or other legal privately owned off-street parking spaces. That would be it could be enforced through our police department. Proactively, the owner-operator should enforce that through proactive communication with their patrons regarding parking. And then the time frame for that is outlined in the condition is related to the hours that they are requesting the entertainment use.
Thank you. And then they also mentioned traffic. Would this increase traffic? There's no traffic analysis, so it's probably minimum traffic, correct?
From my understanding, it's probably the amount of traffic for the restaurant,
And it probably won't be a lot because it's in the evening, right?
or what they're proposing.
Yep. 8 to 12.
So I mean, yeah, a key point that we need to keep in mind when we look at something like this is an additional use for an existing business. So theoretically, if the business was more successful as a restaurant, they would have the same capacity than if it was this. So it's not increasing the number of people who can patronize the business. It's just technically an additional use that can be used for what their capacity is. So there's potential for more traffic than exists now, but that same potential exists with or without this use permit, given just what is happening at the location with the restaurant. Any additional questions, Commissioners? And again, we have a chance within the actual session to address the applicant, and then I'm sure we'll have a few speakers today as well. Okay, Madam Director.
All right, so that concludes the scheduled public hearing items, and we do have a couple of new business items. I asked Chairman G if we could do the Board of Zoning Appeal cases for the upcoming meeting before we talk about the interdepartmental items.
Sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Trevon Boone, Zoning Administrator for the City of Portsmouth. Pursuant to Section 15.2-2310 of the State Code of Virginia, the Zoning Administrator is required to notify the local planning commission of applications received for special exceptions and variances. The Planning Commission may provide a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals or choose to appear as a party at the hearing. For the upcoming May 28, 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals public hearing, we have 5 agenda items that are scheduled for consideration. 2 requests for special exception under the zoning ordinance section 40.2-535B, subsection B, subsection 13, to reduce the minimum required interior side yard setback for the construction of detached single-family dwellings on non-conforming lots measuring approximately 30 feet in width or less. And we have 3 requests for variances under zoning section 40.2-534, subsection B, subsection 2, to reduce the minimum required minimum required side yard setbacks. The first item that we have is 3063 Smithfield Road. This is for a variance to authorize a detached accessory structure beyond the front facade of the principal structure, which means they want to put the shared garage in front of the principal dwelling. Then we have 1200 Hodges Ferry Road. It's a variance to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 23.18 feet. And then we have 2700 Columbus Avenue, which is for a special exception and for a variance to reduce the side yard setbacks. And we have lastly 1216 Portsmouth Boulevard, which is for a special exception request to reduce the interior side yard setbacks. These are our cases that we'll be going for our May 28th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Stand by for any questions or comments.
Any questions for Mr. Booth? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner G, members of the commission, we want to share with you all an extended invitation for you to participate with planning staff in the Government 101 session that will be next Monday, the 12th. Both the planning department and our inspections department will be making presentations to a cohort of about 25 citizens in the city of Portsmouth that are just going through, I'm going to say, an academic curriculum about the City of Portsmouth departments and our functions. I think it would be lovely if we could have one or more members of the commission to be present and introduce yourselves and co-sign what we say about what it is that we do. All right. We are going first. The meeting starts at 6. It's about an hour and a half. Our presentation is limited to 30 minutes. You could be in and out of there by 6:30. All right. Our meeting is going to be at the police department at 206 High Street, just a stone's throw away from here. Okay. And then lastly, I'd like to introduce you to Mrs. Megan Gribble. I was going to say Markle. Miss Megan Gribble with our department. She joins us with more than 5 years of transportation-related experience, and she currently serves as the Portsmouth Transportation Planning Manager.
Nice to meet you all.
You as well.
That's all that we have.
Okay. With that being said, the work session is concluded. We'll see you all in the main chamber shortly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all to a very important meeting today, Tuesday, May 6, 2025, in the City of Portsmouth City Council chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, we will now have roll call. Please indicate your presence electronically. 5 members, 6 members of the Planning Commission are present. 5 members of the Planning Commission are present.
Commissioners, before you are the minutes of the April 1st, 2025 public hearing. If there aren't any changes, we are in need of a motion.
We need a motion.
We're in need of a motion, Commissioners.
Melvin.
Commissioner Melvin,
Motion to approve minutes.
we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the April the 1st, 2025 meeting, and you will be voting electronically. Okay. The minutes are approved by a vote of 5-0. Announcements of future meetings and conferences. Our next scheduled work session is Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025, at 12:30 p.m., City Council Conference Room, followed by public hearing at 1:30 p.m., City Council Chamber. Planning Commission rules limit a speaker up to 5 minutes to speak. We also ask that everyone please silence your cell phones at this time if you have not already done so. Our first Planning Commission item, UP-23-24, Victory Boulevard and Deep Creek Boulevard. Grossman Trucking, LLC, requests a use permit to operate a shipping container chassis storage yard at 680 Military Road in the Light Industrial, IL, zoning district. The property is owned by Jonathan and Lisa Letter and is further described as Tax Map 488, Parcel 2. The future land use map of the Build One Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designates this property as a mixed-use corridor. The staff coordinator is Valerie Malzone. Will the applicant or representative for this application please come forward and present your application at this time?
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of Planning Commission and staff. For the record, my name is Lisa Murphy. I'm an attorney with Wilcox Savage with an office at 440 Monticello Avenue in the city of Norfolk. I'm here today on behalf of Grossman Trucking, who has applied for a use permit to operate shipping container chassis storage yard at 680 Military Road. As the staff report indicates, Grossman Trucking is a family-owned trucking business whose primary purpose is to receive, store, forward, and otherwise dispose of cargo from the port for its customers. Customers hire the applicant to pick up and drop off shipping containers loaded with goods from the port and bring them to various localities throughout the United States. The applicant intends to store shipping containers on chassis overnight on a portion of the property. As you can see there, it's sort of a zigzag section of the property. The majority of the shipping containers are actually on site for 24 hours or less, and this brings up an interesting issue. The definition of a storage container chassis storage yard doesn't necessarily fit what my clients are doing. They've got their trucks, their own 16 trucks. If they go out to the port and pick up a container, they've got, maybe it's late in the day, they'll come back, bring it to the property, and then leave early the next morning. So it's not an ongoing, trucks coming in and out all day long, which, as you saw in the staff report, given the number of truck traffic or trips a day being so limited, is why staff felt comfortable that we didn't need the traffic impact analysis. So they're not stacking these, they're not storing them for months and months at a time. It's really very short-term, on a short-term basis that they've got the shipping containers on chassis actually in the yard. In fact, as they rent the shipping containers and chassis, if they don't get it back quickly enough, they get billed for another night. So they do tend to move them in and out quickly. The land itself is approximately 2.3 acres. It's zoned to IL. And as your staff report indicates, shipping container chassis storage is allowed by right or with a use permit. The easternmost portion of the property, and you can see it a little bit on this map, used to be an outdoor storage area. Some might call it a junkyard. That has been significantly cleaned up, so that area right at the corner of Deep Creek and Military no longer has all those junk cars on it. So it's all been cleared out and is looking much better at this point. There is a 6-foot chain link fence that currently surrounds the exterior of the property, and then there's a chain link fence that's interior that separated the junkyard from the rest of the property, and that will be removed. As Ms. Malzone mentioned, there was an error in the prior concept plan that has been revised in the version that you have now that shows the entire entrance on the parcel at 680 Military Road. There's an existing curb cut / entrance there now, and it appears that a small corner of that was on the adjacent property, 684. So the plans have been revised to show all of the access on 680 Military Road. The applicant plans to install a sliding gate at the existing entrance. Military Road at that location is really neither an arterial or a major collector. As the site plan shows, the blue is the trucks coming in. So they come down Victory, take a right into the site, and then when they come out, they take a right onto Military Road and then a left onto Deep Creek, and then they go left or right once they get to the intersection. The entire property is currently improved with graded aggregate base materials. So the only portions of the property that would need to be improved for the use would be the entrance that'll have to be paved to commercial standards, and then the landscaping and the buffering that'll be added to the rear of the property. Properties to the north and the west, as was indicated, are zoned IL. This use is pretty common in that area. The property is within an employment redevelopment focus area, and comprehensive plan strategies for the area focus on intensifying development with proper buffering from neighborhoods and residential uses. The proposed operation is appropriate in the proposed location, and it does support, as Commissioner Melvin identified, maritime and logistics businesses in the city. It will not have a negative impact on adjacent properties or the surrounding traffic network, as indicated by your staff. And I would add that while the overall impact to the city from this operation is small, the overall impact to this particular small business is immense. The business operates not only Grossman Trucking, but on the adjacent property, 684 Military, they have a truck repair business, Tidewater Diesel. So this is a small business that's doing truck repair on one side of the property, and then on this property, they're operating their trucking business. And this is, as I mentioned, having the ability to continue to do this will have an immense impact on their businesses and their ability to stay in Portsmouth. I mean, these are two small businesses being operated in the city, and they would like to continue to operate here. As the staff report indicates, the proposed use is appropriate at this location, and it meets several of the goals of the Build One Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan. Staff is recommending approval with 9 conditions, which the applicant concurs with, and we respectfully request that you recommend approval to City Council. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. There was one question that came in from the public, and it spoke about vehicles coming from the other direction. Just as a point of clarity, these trucks are all going to be coming from the shipyard, or I'm sorry, from the port. So in fact, there is only the one route they would be taking, which is down Victory.
Right, they'd be coming down Victory, right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was clear as I saw that question.
And
come in.
just for purposes of, and we spent a long time with staff on this, and I appreciate all of staff's work on this because it's taken a while. But because they only operate the 16 trucks and all 16 trucks aren't operational and in use at the same time, it really is very much lower than 75 trips a day that you would have coming in and out of the property.
No, understood. Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant or the applicant's representative? Okay, great. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-23-24. I do have a couple of speakers. Our first speaker is David Louder. You will have 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah, hello, my name is David Luder.
Luder?
Yeah, appreciate
Sorry.
all that me speak today.
Sure.
I just, as it said, I own 684 Military Road, which is adjacent property, and Grossman Trucking rents a couple of buildings from me, and of course he rents space over there. And of course he told me the other day he plans on leaving my property in the near future. And I have a couple of major concerns. One was, which you already spoke about, was the entrance. They want to put it right on my, they want to encroach on my property with the entrance. I don't know why they have to have it so close over. There's 184 feet from the corner to my property line, and I recommended they bring it down closer to the corner of Deep Creek Boulevard and Military Road. There's also a drainage catch basin right in the middle of where that proposed apron is. And there's a swell going down between the property lines that drain my property. That building in the front was built about 1948 by my father, and when it's very low, so if the water doesn't drain away, it'll cause structural damage to the building, which has already occurred. Mr. Grossman, they brought in about 50 truckloads of fill and dumped in that yard on the side of the yard and in the back of the yard with no permit and no grading plan. And now the water drains towards the back of my property and it drains towards the side, and they filled in the existing swell with the silt and stuff washed over the fence and filled in the swell that was between the two properties. They did let me use the, go over there and dig it back out, and right now at halfway drain, there's a big puddle, and the trucks are driving across the catch basin, constantly fill it in. We have to get the city to come out and fill it and clean it out. A couple of other issues I have was on the corner of Military and Deep Creek Boulevard, the existing chain link fence is so close to the edge of the road, you really can't see down Deep Creek Boulevard to see if traffic's approaching. Right now the chain link fence, you can kind of see through it a little bit, but if they park trucks there, that would be impossible. I recommend moving that fence back so you can see down the road. And probably, I think it'd be better if it was a privacy fence due to, in the past, we've had a lot of complaints about people being able to see in there. There's also, they show the office, there's an office building in the back, and they show that not being part of the thing. I don't know why they're taking it out, but in the past, we've had a lot of issues. Sometimes we've had as many as 5 tenants over there, and they've had a lot of issues with wanting to come over and use our bathrooms. Of course, they close all the gates, and nobody can really figure out where to go over there, so they come over and start asking us where to go. I've been threatened. People said they were going to shoot me, and even the city planning office hit me up in there one day and got on me because all the stuff I was doing over that property, which I have no control over. It's never been my property. So there's a lot of confusion, but I think it'd be a lot better if that office back there was so the people working for Grossman Trucking could use their restroom or whoever else, because like I said, Adam said he wasn't planning on staying there very long, so I don't know who might be there in the past. There's been, over the last 30 years, there's been numerous illegal businesses there. They've caused a lot of problems for me, because every time somebody has a problem there, they come over, the city of Two comes over and attacks me because they think I have something to do with it. I also suggest that they put lighting in and put things for the trucks to hit. In the past, we've had a lot of problems with the trucks ramming the fence. That fence in the middle is demolished where the trucks have hit it so much. But they've hit my fence several times because they can't really see where to stop, so they back up and they just put some bumpers in and put lighting in so it can be seen at nighttime, so you can see where to go and make it safer for everybody too. And that's all I have. Like I say, I recommend not approving it till the improvements are shown on some kind of site plan. So in the past, I've been told various things are going to happen over there, and it never happens. Thank you, everybody. Is that any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Luke? Commissioner Melvin?
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your time. Did you ever mention these concerns to Grossman Trucking and the planning department here?
Several times. Also, I had, they were encroaching on my property, which I came to talk to the planning department, and she told me I needed to send Grossman Trucking and my brother a letter to cease and desist because they were using my property. I didn't realize it made any difference, but she said they can take over using my property. Also, I didn't include it, but where they're wanting to put that apron, it'll block. We got a back gate to our property that goes in and out, and we also have people coming in. So the apron looks like to me it's going to be way over on our property. I don't know why they, like I say, they can't move it over. And also, Mr. Grossman, the other day, we had a truck. I don't think the city property is under their control. We had a truck from one of my other renters pulled up in the front there, in the front of the lot. He came out and cussed him out because he was blocking his entrance, you know. And I don't think there's anything illegal about having a truck pulled on the city property. You know, he was on the city property. And I don't want him cussing out all my other tenants so they have to get a little bit on top of that apron.
Thank you. For the planning staff, have we addressed any of the concerns from the citizen and the conditions, proposed conditions, or is Grossman Trucking willing to cooperate and assist this individual?
I don't know if I answered your question fully, but I did talk to Grossman Trucking and my brother several times.
Okay, no, perfect.
And the planning department. I sent a letter to the planning department about a year ago, and I sent another one a couple of days ago.
Thank you, Mr. Luter. Director Russell?
Yes, Mr. Melvin, Mr. Luter did come by the office last week, and I spoke with him personally about a number of the issues that were raised. I'd like to add, he didn't ask, but the curb, the apron, the proposed apron at the front of the property would require a site plan, probably a minor site plan. And I just asked Ms. Malzone to take a note regarding the fill material, the comment about fill material that was placed on the site and drainage issues, so that we can at least follow up with engineering about that. Once we share that information, there's not much else planning can do about that, but stormwater has to be by state law maintained on your property. So I think in time, if that issue is accurate, that would also be addressed.
Thank you, Dr. Russell. So there's nothing we need to add to the conditions, and doesn't matter in this case?
I don't believe so.
So the revised conditions that you got at the table in the work session, the new conceptual site plan that it references, the one submitted May 5th, that was moving the paved commercial entrance completely onto the property of 680 Military. So that, that will now be the new condition to reference the one that's not encroaching.
Thank you. Would Mr. Grossman or Grossman Trucking representative like to speak about this matter?
So just wanted to address a couple of issues. So Mr. Luter is my client's landlord at 684 Military Road. His brother, who I understand he's estranged with is the landlord at 680 Military Road. So you've got that situation going on. The entrance was drawn originally the way it was because it exists today. It currently exists. There's a break in the fence at that location. And if you look at the original plan, we're talking a few inches as far as the encroachment of that existing entrance. So when the other Mr. Luter indicated that there was an issue, my client went and actually tore down a section of the fence that was there so that they could make sure everybody was completely moved over. So the location of the entrance has been adjusted, even though the current entrance, the way it exists right now, does encroach by a few inches. The new entrance will not. I think that hopefully addresses that. The section in the center is not being leased by Grossman Trucking. That's why it's crosshatched. That area, there is a building there. My understanding is the property owner leases that to somebody else. That has nothing to do with the Grossman Trucking business. So that's why it isn't part of this use permit. The land is zoned light industrial, and there are many by right uses that you could do, truck parking being one of the by right uses that you could have on the property. Previously, in that corner that we talked about, there was a legal non-conforming outdoor storage yard, junkyard that was there. But there are many by right uses that could be made of the property other than the uses and the area that has been leased to my client. So hopefully that addresses that.
Thank you. Commissioners, any additional questions? Okay. Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next speaker is Donna Biggs.
My name is Donna Biggs, and I live in the Woodbine Farms section of Portsmouth. I was trying to find out what voting precinct this area is in, and I didn't have the information. Well, I have the information, but I didn't have it to ask what the voting precinct in. And why I wanted to know is because I've done research and made ways to who is doing what in the city, so we, the people, have control of our city, as our Constitution says. But that's what I was trying to find out. What voting precinct, with the research I've done, so what area is that where the people are addressed first? When somebody wants to do something, they go to the civic leagues and talk about what they want. So the people already have an idea of what's going to happen, and it's going to affect them. The other thing is that I'm noticing now coming here is that we had 8 annexes in the city, and what is happening is we just have things all over the city and not some place where things are being done. So that's what is teaching me with this. All these annexes, and you have this zoning whatever, but yeah, you haven't zoned things where they need to be in the city. So I'm just saying, did they go to the Civic League meetings and say this is what they are trying to do and have the people have a voice first before we're all up here? Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-23-24. If there's someone here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak.
My name is Mike Fink. Sorry I didn't dress for the occasion. This piece of property, so you'll know, I've got almost a 60-year history, a block or two down the street. There's been nothing but accidents at the corner of Deep Creek and Victory Boulevard. Terrible accidents. Also, when you pull out of this lot, you have to go to the right. And when you go to the right to make your left-hand turn onto Deep Creek Boulevard, that's one lane. So when that truck makes that turn, and it's 80 feet long, the car coming, hopefully ain't going over the speed limit, which most everybody does, is going to slam right on into it. So you're giving them permission to get hit. The other thing is, that really wasn't a junkyard, but it kind of turned into a fellow that brought in some craps, what he brought in, and he was using it as a police impound. That lot was filled in. They raised it up. Didn't see any permits about anything. No silk fence come up. It's raised up real high in the rear. There's 2 houses directly behind this lot, one on the corner, and then there's another one, and there's a great big bush that separates it. To the right, hidden, I don't know, just to the right, is about 4 or 5 fairly new houses that they built in the last 15 years. The landscaper has been there in the backyard and put in French drains. Nobody offered from the city to come and put in French drains to catch the water when it does rain. And believe me, it rains. The other main thing is, in front of this fence, there used to be a ditch. Someone, well, I ain't gonna say who, it won't me, filled that ditch in so the trucks can go in and out that gate. So basically, when you pull out with an 80-foot truck, you need more than 50 feet. You need to swing wide. If you don't, you're going to catch the gentleman's pole, like he said, and they did it all the time. I don't have a problem with containers. I don't think there's any money involved in it, not for the city aspect, but it just doesn't make sense. Also, one other thing is a major concern. When you turn off of Victory Boulevard onto Military Road, it's a very short street. There is a concrete shaped like a V, I guess, and it's like a bumper. It's probably 9 to 10 inches high. Every truck comes in there, makes that right-hand turn, that's the only way to get in, hits that concrete bumper. And if they try to miss it, then the truck or trailer goes down in the ditch and it acts like it's going to turn over. But the biggest concern is the city needs to clean that ditch out. If you clean the ditch out, go back and look at the plot, that ditch is there, nobody will be able to bring a truck in there because the drainage, we have a drainage problem. So anyway, I don't have a fight in this thing, and I know Mr. Luter and know the other gentleman, but I just don't think that I think there's an accident waiting to happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone else here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak. Appearing to be none, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, this public hearing is now closed.
Commissioners, is there any additional discussion? If not, we are in need of a motion and a second. Commissioner Melvin?
Motion to approve UP TAC 23, TAC 24 with approved conditions. I think the planning staff will help out with the concerned citizens with these problems, and we think we should give the opportunity for Grossman Trucking to be able to do this event. So, thank you.
All right, is there a second? Commissioner Jiggins?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motioned and second to approve UP-23-24 with conditions, and you will be voting electronically. This item is approved 5-0 with conditions. Our next item, UP-25-04 Churchland. B. Ashby requests a use permit to operate an event space banquet hall at 6031 High Street West in the General Mixed Use GMU zoning district. The property is owned by City Line LLC and is further identified as tax map 816 parcel 4. The future land use map of the Build One Portsmouth Comprehensive Plan designates this property as commercial. The staff coordinator is Valerie Malzone, and the applicant is at the podium, and you may present your case at this time.
Good afternoon. My name is Belinda Ashby. I would like for y'all to get to know me better. I live at 2433 Bugle Drive in Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm the CEO and owner of Dreams Come True, LLC. I've been a very hard worker since I was 12 years old and have had 2 paper routes as a young person and work in the crab factory. By the age of 23, I had acquired a historical restaurant in Newport News called Pearlie's Grill. It is still there. We sold it later on. I ran it from 1991 to 2004. I became a longshoreman and equipment and crane operator for the ILA. I did 30 years and I retired ILA. Being the first female in the port of Newport News to operate the cranes over top of the ships and the second in the port of Norfolk. I started a Little Sweet for You venue shortly after coming out of the pandemic. It seems like everything in my life has led me to this point, from the restaurant, working food service, being dealing with customer service all my life. So when I started it, we only have capacity for 100 people. We have grown in the past 4 years, and so we are being booked outside of our venue now to go decorate and cater and take care of people in a larger venue. So my desire was to get a larger place of my own and service people there. We have a variety of people that come to our venue. I know Portsmouth has a lot of venues at this point, and so there was a concern. The good thing about mine or having multiple venues is that it opens the door for different type of people to have the type of establishment where they want or what kind they want. So my idea is to have an upscale venue, which I feel like I have presently now in the city of Chesapeake on Taylor Road. So by me opening up this establishment in Churchland, it will allow for people to stay close to home. They don't have to travel so far to go out and have a nice time in a elegant place, and they can return home. So the majority of my clients are not ones who pop up and say, I want to come in and have a party. They usually book out at least 2 months or further. Sometimes we do have last-minute people looking for places, especially for graduations. But if we could get the sign turned, the one with the picture of my sign in the front of the building, by putting that sign up, it allows people to know that they can book, and so they can start booking out further along. I know one of the things that the contingents was that we take the sign down. The sign is very useful for my business because of the fact that we are able to welcome people coming in for weddings and parties and stuff in advance when they come up. There also, people have also noticed the sign, so they are trying to book out now for dates in the future. We have micro weddings. We have spectacular anniversary parties. We have wonderful graduations for our students. We have sweet 16s for the young ladies. And we have appreciate your service retirement parties. We also have breast cancer charity auctions that we hold available. And we like to open up for larger events for corporates, companies, because my smaller establishment does not do that. So it will allow for me to open up for corporate events for holidays and other meetings. The goal is to be known as a place of cheers for High Street, and a place where people will know to go, a little sweet for you venue. I've noticed that I've requested that my hours be extended till 2 o'clock in the morning. I know that Portsmouth likes to cut off at 12. My reason for asking for an extension is because of the fact that with different cultures that I deal with, find out that some do not start until late in the evening. So when they start at 9 or 10 o'clock, it's not necessarily that they're having, they're more so like African cultures. They start later on in the evening. So if they start at 9, then to say you got to cut off at 12 and they're just getting in, then it becomes an issue for them. So I would like to be able to service everybody, no matter what their culture is, and move forward with that. I think that my patio area in the back is basically for people who would like to smoke. So I never want to be a nuisance to my area. So I don't want people smoking in front of my venue. The patio area will be available for people to smoke if they like. and enjoy the weather. If I'm allowed to have this change of use permit, I will ensure that I always keep my standards high and meet the guidelines and regulations of my permit. But I am requesting that you allow me to keep my sign up, being that it's been there for 40-some years already, and also that you consider my time to be extended to 2 in the morning. I've been in Chesapeake running the business for 4 years. I have not had any problems at all. I try to cater to people who want to have a good time and not just have a party. Is there any questions?
Commissioner, actually, I have one question. So first, I want to commend, in fact, I'm actually familiar with your other location. I run a nonprofit based here in Portsmouth, where we provide funding and programming for primarily youth, and we often look for venues. Of course, your venue was too small for the activities we do for some of our fundraisers and items like that. And this is a great location for that. And that being said, what are the hours you run currently at the Chesapeake location?
So people call me and ask me, are you there? I'm not there during the daytime unless I'm setting up for an event. Usually people start their parties 5, 6, 7 in the evening. With the African culture, we find they come in 8, 9 o'clock, more so. I don't have a time limit in Chesapeake. They didn't require one for me. So being that my motto is for people to have the party of their dreams, I let them schedule their time according to the way they want. Some of my packages in Chesapeake is all day. I have an all-day package. And people use that package for coming in doing their own decorating instead of me decorating. So they get in early and they decorate, and then they go home, rest, get changed up, and come back. I've also had different parties that get the all-day package where they come in, they have the church folks in the daytime, and then later on that evening, they have the family and friends event. So it just depends on who is booking, what their needs are. I try to cater to them. I haven't had any problems. Usually if young people try to book, I don't like to discriminate between young and older people, but I do put criteria on what type of event they're having and make sure that if they're having something that seems like it could maybe get out of hand, that, you know, they have the security there, or they have their parents there, or whatever the case is, because each event is different. So it varies. They're usually done by 2. They usually don't stay that late. I have seen 3 o'clock with cleanup, but I'm usually there.
And so you actually opened another item right there. Do you require security for reservations?
I do not, unless it's a young crowd. I haven't had any problems. So when, you know, usually my crowd is an older crowd. I hate to say it, it's an older crowd. Usually 40 and up. A lot of older birthday parties they have for families and friends, anniversary parties, couples been married many years. A few birthday parties, and like I said, sweet 16s, they're usually bringing in the parents. The parents are booking it, they're handling it, and so they're usually there. I've seen one event, you know, that I've had that the young man was 30, and I just required that he have security and that, you know, they bring me their paperwork, you know, bond, insured, and whatnot, so that I felt comfortable having them in my establishment, because I have not had any problems. Usually when people book with me, I don't know if it's the prices that I have or whatnot, they're not a crowd that just want to jump in and jump out. They're planners. They're people who want to have a nice luxury event. They spend money in the decorations, in the food, everything about it. You know, so
I will concur. Your prices weren't the cheapest. I will say that, as I noticed. And I do recommend that you do set some strict policies on those items, just so that it's known to potential clients, age cutoff, and not just be at a, like, I feel like this group. I would highly suggest you just set some stringent policies on those items. Let me go ahead and open up to some questions from my other commissioners. Commissioner Melvin?
Thank you. For planning staff, do we have a lot of establishments that operate after 12 o'clock in Portsmouth?
So I don't have an exact number, but as far as like restaurants, entertainment establishments, and some event space, banquet halls, usually their hours of operation would be limited by their ABC license, or are not regulated since a use permit is required. We have been, by we I mean City Council has in the past put regulations and conditions on the hours of operation, and we chose 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as a proposed condition because that has been the precedent with the event space banquet halls. So if Planning Commission did feel that it could operate appropriately under different hours of operations, you could recommend a removal or a change in the proposed conditions. They are recommendations.
Thank you. I'm hesitant to increase the hours and to keep the sign up, because then it's possible that may increase applications of other establishments wanting to have a sign up and want to increase their hours after multiple times we limited it to 12 o'clock. So I'm hesitant about that. I support the request for the use permit with the approved conditions that the planning staff recommended.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Jiggets?
And this is to our planner. Please recap the conditions of requirement that you recommend, please.
So the conditions proposed by staff are, since the applicant is proposing live entertainment, meaning potentially DJs and live bands, the use-specific standards for entertainment establishments, so that is compliance with the unlawful excessive sound ordinance, and that she would have a soundproof entryway and exit doors, that the attached roof sign, which is considered legally non-conforming because it extends beyond the roof line of the building, be removed and replaced with a sign that meets the standards of the zoning ordinance, that the hours of operation shall be limited between 8 a.m. and midnight, and then the remainder of the conditions are confirming that the applicant would obtain all of the required permits and approvals prior to operating her business. And then the final one is a reiteration of what could cause the use permit to be revoked.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay. All right, Madam Secretary. Thank you.
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-04. Our next speaker is Donna Biggs. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Donna Biggs, Woodbine Farms. I'm a country girl and like things that are natural. And one of the things that is, we have a Churchland Civic League, and I was wondering if they went there and gave a report on what they plan to do. The other thing is, I saw it was originally a Mexican restaurant, and then it changed and all that. And there was a number up there, and I called the fellow. I said, hey, I like to have that as a dance hall. Can you help me get one going? No. Okay. I didn't even know that this was geared to be a event place until I went up to check up, so when I came here, I could be able to speak. But I don't know. I don't know if it's working now or not. But they have a sign up saying for events. I mean, let's have something that looks good. I'm a visual learner. Action, okay? I'm just learning. It makes a difference because most people learn by hearing and they can blow things off. Me, I want us, we the people, to have a voice in what we look at and what we do. And if they didn't go to a Civic League in Churchland, why? To say, hey, I want all this, and then come to City Council and planning. Let the people have a choice on what they want to look at. You tore down the dance hall, you tore down the movie theater, so what? We're supposed to just come downtown and have nothing in Churchland? I like to see us be our own township so we can govern our own selves instead of people just doing what they want to do without our voices being heard.
Thank you, Ms. Biggs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-04. If there is someone here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon. Elliot Cohen. I live in Chesapeake. I own City Line Plaza. I've owned it for 45 years. It's been started out as Shoney's. It then became Players, restaurant, La Torteca, 13 years. They've had live music every now and then. Players had live music every day of the week. There has never been a problem with sound, ever. No complaints, no police, no problem. I live 5 minutes from that property. I'm there every day. I can tell you what trash is on the parking lot every day. I pick it up personally. I feel like I understand the reason for event center conditional use permit, because you do get situations where you have problems where they rent a private party. In fact, that's funny because I was probably the person that said no dance hall, because I don't want that pop-up situation where they come in, they rent the building overnight, they stay all night, and next thing you know, the police are called. So I was very selective. The building's been empty ever since the martial arts place, and I was proud to represent the event center because A, she's been in business 4 years, she knows what she's doing. My main concern are two conditions, the hours and the sign. I feel like you're putting conditions on somebody and saying you're guilty until you're proven innocent. You're already assuming there's going to be a problem. I realize there's been problems in the past with other people, but how do you hold somebody trying to open up a legitimate business? And I think you alluded to the fact that this doesn't come cheap. You're not renting an event center cheap. It's not a one-time party place. So I was told that the city is looking at the 12 o'clock curfew compared to the 2 o'clock. You get a restaurant with an ABC license. They're allowed to serve alcohol and have music until 2 o'clock. So I don't understand why the event center should be treated differently. And I was told it's in the works to fix that. So I would ask to not have the 12 o'clock. On top of which, the whole reason for a conditional use permit is so that the city can have control if there's a problem. But let there be a problem first before you put conditions on. If there's a problem with, and it says right in the paperwork, if the police have problems and they want to submit paperwork, that they can take the conditional use permit. And that's the whole reason for conditional use permit. It's hard to take somebody's operating business license away, but you can take the conditional use permit away. So I'm asking to give her a chance. Let her show you that she's real. Let her show you that you're going to do the right thing at the right time for the people. As far as the comment about checking in with the Civic League, that's why we're here now. If the Civic League wants to know, I could see if it was a major change in the venue, but you went from a restaurant, it went to martial arts, and then it went back to the event center, and something that nobody's mentioned, she's putting in a new kitchen. She's going to be cooking. She may even do restaurant at some point, but she wants to be able to cater these events. You don't get many event centers, and she's taking on a lot of risk with a large building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-04. If there is anyone here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak.
Mike Fink. This sounds like a really great idea. The lady really has a lot of spunk. I give her that. I really do. Portsmouth needs some assistance, and they need revenue. The only thing that concerns me is alcohol and 2 o'clock and no security. When you have alcohol, you seem to have firearms, and there's no security there. We all live in the city, and we know how shorthanded we are. I know the casino, if I'm not mistaken, stops serving alcohol at 2, I believe it was. And a lot of times they would go from downtown when they closed, and at one time there was no time limit on alcohol at the casino. They would all jump in the car and go to the casino and finish drinking and then try to make it home. But I think she's got a really good idea, really does. I mean, this sounds like a legit place. It really does. And sounds like she's getting ready to spend a lot of money. So anyway, 2 o'clock, I don't know. It's kind of, you know, happy birthday and eat and go home. So, I mean, that's, you know, but I don't see why you got to have alcohol that time of morning. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Is there anyone else here who did not get an opportunity to register that would like to address UP-25-04? Appearing to be none, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, this public hearing is now closed.
Commissioners, is there any additional discussion? If not, we are in need of a motion and a second. Commissioner Mo? Oh. Say it real clear. So we'll take a motion for anyone else. Commissioner Melvin's equipment's malfunctioning.
Yes, I will do this motion. I think security is necessary as one of the conditions. And in compliance with the signed ordinance, we have to be in compliance at this point. So I do the motion with the addendum of the additional conditions.
So for clarity, you were making the motion with the stated conditions?
With the stated conditions, focusing also on the security requirement, that they have security when they're having certain events.
We do a point of parliamentary inquiry.
Okay.
Yes, sir. In another use permit, we have as a condition that the zoning administrator would have to approve the security plan prior to opening. And so I think this may be what Ms. Jiggets, Commissioner Jiggets is requesting that be added as a condition
Yes,
to
it's-
this.
That is correct.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Taylor?
Yes, but she's not asking to serve alcohol. She just wants to stay open a little bit later to 2.
Yes, I think, well, I mean, the alcohol would be covered by ABC licenses.
Okay.
But I think the request is, we currently have a condition that says the opening hours would be 8 to midnight. And she would like to, the applicant would like to amend that to, I'm not sure she gave a specific time.
She said 2.
No, she said 2.
So with that being stated, did you want to restate your motion following the clarity?
No, I think my motion was very clear.
For the
I
record, the
think-
motion was to approve with the conditions, including approval of a security?
Yes, I
Okay.
think that is, in my opinion, for safety reasons.
Okay.
In Churchill.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second by Commissioner Taylor, thank you. Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion and a second to approve UP-25-04 with conditions and additional conditions for security issues closing at 2 a.m.
Well, point of parliamentary clarity. Were you also saying the 2 a.m.?
If I recall, that was one of the original conditions, was it not?
No, the original condition was 12.
12.
Was to close at 12.
With the addendum of the security, the 2 a.m.
Okay, thank you for the clarity.
I'm good. Addendum with security and closing at 2 a.m. And you will be voting electronically.
You bad.
This item is approved by a vote of 4 to 0, to 1, sorry, 4 to 1.
Who's the one? Oh, chairperson. She said 4.
Our next item, UP-25-05, Manor View. C. Hogan's requests a use permit to operate an entertainment establishment at 1805 Hodges Ferry Road in the General Mixed Use GMU zoning district. The property is owned by ARS Enterprise LLC and is further identified as tax map 595, parcel 2. The future land use map of the Build One Portsmouth comprehensive plan designates this property as a mixed-use corridor. The staff coordinator is Patrice Branch. The applicants are at the podium, and you may present your application at this time.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen of the council. We're here. My name's Charles Hogan's. This is Anthony Cooper, and we are the owners of iCrave Restaurant. Right now, we'd like to request an extension. We need to rewrite our narrative with the assistance of the HOA from Green Lakes and the surrounding areas. The narrative has been misunderstood. So in order for us to present a proper application of our intent, we are requesting an extension.
Director Russell, will we table this one, or would we, what would be your recommendation as they're requesting?
the applicant can request an extension. Because the item has been advertised and the public noticed, the planning commission would have to take a formal action on that extension request. And our preference would be if you defer it to a specific date, because we could defer advertising it again, rather notify by mail all of the applicants. And at your discretion, because the public has come to speak to the request, you could consider those comments by members of the public who are present.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. So it's my recommendation that we still take comment from the public. They spent their day to come here, but we do. And when it comes around to motion time, we do defer. Were you all looking for 1 month, 2 months?
Oh, no. Actually, as soon as we could talk to the HOA, or we could clear up some of the misunderstandings, if that's able to be done now and be acceptable by everyone, that's fine. We are prepared to do that. But if not, as soon as of next week, after we talk to the HOA.
We only meet once a month, so that's
So,
where.
okay, so it'd
yeah,
be,
that's where it
the
goes
next
to June.
available
Perfect.
would be,
June 3rd is the date.
okay.
Okay. So, okay. No, thank you all.
Well, if, may I?
Oh, please.
Okay.
It's still your time. I
So
apologize.
if you're still going to hear comments from the HOA and the residents here, okay, I'd like to say, the narrative was written by me, and the misunderstanding is that we're trying to promote a nightclub. We're trying to do extended hours, and that's not the case, okay? Basically, we are first-time owners, and being new to the narrative of the game, I use templates to supply all the information needed, okay? And I took the templates from clubs or nightclubs, and I used some of that narrative, specifically the hours of operation, and those are incorrect. All that we wanted to do really is to, maybe on a Thursday, something like that, to have like a karaoke, falling within the time frame of from, no later than 12 o'clock is what we were looking at. Our goal is to have a family-oriented, safe place for the neighborhood and friends to have good food, have a drink, go home. We're not trying to have no 1, 2 o'clock wild party or any type of nightclub or anything along those lines. And so I do apologize for the narrative as it was written, and even further for the misunderstanding that went with it. We were told that we needed a permit to have something just like a karaoke. We will have maybe private events, but that will be on an individual basis. That's it.
No, and I do appreciate you all today for this and for taking the time to pause and then speak with your neighbors. So I do appreciate that. And as a professional writer, never hesitate to find a professional writer out there that can help you.
Yes.
But no, thank you all for your time today.
Lesson well learned.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-05. I do have several speakers. As I call your name, please step forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak. Our first speaker is Fred Porter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Fred Porter, and I'm the guy that started all of this. A little background to me. My training is a chemist. In my profession, I'm a retired project superintendent. So that means two things. I love details, and I operate on facts. First question is, what's my standing? It's a picture of my house. Take that and pass it down, please. I met with Dr. Russell last Monday. She and Patricia Brantz came out to the site. We met with them again on the site last Monday afternoon, and I pointed out some issues to them. I hate to say that the information that you were presented in your working session is inaccurate, and I think intentionally deceptive. Now, why do I say that? Okay, let's talk facts. Fact number one, you were told that this facility has got 32 parking spaces. That is incorrect. This facility has 27 parking spaces. 5 parking spaces on the left-hand side do not comply with section 40-1-1, which requires a 7-foot separation between sidewalk, between the building and parking. I have photographic evidence that these 5 parking spaces do not comply with that requirement. I pointed that out to Patrice Branch Monday afternoon a week ago. She knows that. She intentionally ignored that fact and included an erroneous number to you in parking. Also, this parking lot, this facility, ADA 2010 section 208 and 502, this facility right here, and Virginia Code 13, Virginia Code 63-250, chapter 11, requires 2, not 1, but 2 handicap spots. This facility has 0. I pointed that out to Patricia Branch and Dr. Russell Monday a week ago. It is my understanding of chapter 11 of 252 that you cannot count handicap spaces in meeting general requirements. Now we're down to 25 spaces. Okay? So let's talk some more facts. Chapter 13 of the Portsmouth Code of Ordinances requires buildings to have fire lanes. Fire lanes require clearance of 13 feet. This building has no fire lanes. So now you're down to 25 parking spaces minus what the fire department deems is required for fire lanes. Chapter 13 of the ordinance says that no standing or parking is allowed in fire lanes. So, what's the final number of parking spaces at 1805? I don't know. Incidentally, I wrote a point paper. I gave it to Dr. Russell Monday a week ago. She assured me that she would include it in the packet that you got. I do not know whether she did or not. But let me give you some background. 1805 and 1811. 1805 was built in 1962 as the 7-Eleven. 1811 was built in 1979 as a community parlor. Fay and Clayton Flinner bought them. Fay and Clayton Flinner operated them as Clayton's Seafood Restaurant for over 30 years. In this very chamber, I spoke on Fay and Clayton's behalf when they wanted to have a use permit to operate 1811 as a meeting center. The City Council in 2002 stated you can't operate both buildings at the same time. Well, unfortunately, Clayton got cancer and died, and Fay died last year. The buildings were sold in 2017 to Doctors Bunan and Duraid Alnev. He runs an investment company. They're gynecologists. They run Western Branch Gynecology Center. They live in Chesapeake. They don't care what happens in Portsmouth. A new company was chartered in March of 2025 called iCrave LLC. The principals you just met, Charlie and Tony. Great guys, okay? I met with Anthony last Thursday. There seems to be a lot of confusion about what the scope is and what they want. My hope is that they can run a quiet, sophisticated restaurant at that site like Clayton and Fay Flinner did for over 30 years and operate within the confines of their parking spaces, whatever that number is determined to be.
Thank you for this information, Mr. Porter. Your time is actually up and down to 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes is up, Mr. Porter. We do thank you for this information, and as this will be carried on to another month, hopefully a lot of these will be addressed.
I'll speak another 5 minutes. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you as well, sir. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. David Luter.
Hello, my name's Dave Luter. I live at 906 Melvin Drive. I travel up and down Hodges Ferry Road a lot since that's the easiest way to go to my house a lot of times to 264 back and forth. In the past several years, there's been several instances where there's cars. I don't know if it's this banquet center or the other banquet center, but the cars are stacked up so far down the road, swinging their doors open, you can barely get down that road. Hodges Ferry Road is traveled by a lot of people since it's kind of a cut through to go from Portsmouth Boulevard from Airline. And a few months ago, there was some kids out there running around, and it was very, very dangerous. So that was one of my first concerns. And then the other session, the planning session, they were talking about that the police would have to enforce people not parking. Y'all were going to make a no parking zone on the road or in the neighborhood or something. And the police, the city of Portsmouth police, to me, they're already overstretched. I mean, you hear on the TV every day, they can barely take care of what's going on out in the city, and it seems like they can't hire anybody. So I really don't know how the city police can take care of it. Also, I lived in Deep Creek on George Washington Highway, right across the street from Cooper's, which it seems like to me is kind of a similar establishment to what this was going to be, and it was awful. Every night during the weekend, around probably around 11 or 12, something like that, it would start. The people, you couldn't hear the noise from inside the building, but the people on the outside, they were kind of, I guess, tipsy or drunk or whatever, and they were hollering and screaming back and forth at each other, and it would wake you up. And of course, they had got used to it over the years, but it's a lot to have to endure. So I really feel sorry for the people that live in that neighborhood. Are going to have to put up with this, and this is a lot worse situation than what that was. At least they had parking. They would still park up and down the streets, but this looks like it's going to be terrible to me. That's all I have. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Priscilla Sheet. Short. Okay.
Well, I'm kind of confused on what's happening now, so only thing I came to say is that I was against the establishment having entertainment at nighttime. We're in a nice little neighborhood, it's a quiet neighborhood, and there's a lot of traffic that does come down Hodges Ferry Road, and I don't know what else to say except that I'm against that, so thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Christopher Francis.
Hi, good afternoon. Christopher Francis. I am at Nottingham Road, just a couple blocks away from this establishment and the proposed changes there. A lot of my questions and concerns have already been answered, but I did just want, because I came out to at least advocate or at least voice some concerns regarding the neighbors that I have on Nottingham Road. I'm not a part of the Green Lakes HOA or that community there, but I am about a block and a half. You can almost see my house in that photo. A block and a half away, and yeah, I am all for the family-friendly establishment. I'm all for the local business and the people that it brings to the area. I'm always looking for more diverse folks coming to Portsmouth and establishing family-friendly and home businesses and home restaurants. My understanding is the current location is a Jamaican restaurant. At least that's the understanding that I have from doing my limited research today. I'm all for that. That's awesome. I'm glad to have it. But I do just want to advocate for the people in my neighborhood and my neighbors, and say that I would like the parking situation to be looked at and to be addressed. If there really are code issues with the parking situation, that is something that I would like to have at least taken a look at, and to make sure that whatever is being proposed for the space itself is suitable for, or the parking is suitable for whatever is being proposed for that space. If there is any kind of spillover, obviously that would happen within my neighborhood, that would happen within the Green Lakes neighborhood, and that's something that I would personally like to avoid having. I can't speak for Green Lakes, I can't speak for Arnold Palmer, but I can speak for Nottingham Road, where I am. If it is a narrow road with no sidewalks, if there are two cars coming in opposite directions, someone's pulling over to make sure that there's space for the other vehicle to come by. People do park on the street there. There is street parking. It is a tight space, and again, if parking does happen to spill over, if it goes beyond that, that event center that's right next door and it does come into our neighborhoods, I want to speak plainly and say that I have concerns about safety for both the residents in our neighborhood, but also the patrons of whatever the establishment is going to be hosting at that time. You know, we have limited street lights, we have limited availability of parking spaces, and the streets are narrow. So, you know, I just want to speak on behalf and advocate for my neighbors as well. That's kind of it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Our next speaker is Donna Biggs.
Donna Biggs, living in the Woodbine Farms neighborhood, and this is in the Hodges Manor neighborhood. And again, did the civic leagues in that area get word before they got all into this idea so they could have helped them define what it is they were really wanting to have? So I'm all about we the people, and we need representation to consult with us first before it comes here. So I know people don't like what I say, but I can't help it. We the people are the government, and we need to be addressed first before it comes here.
Thank you, Ms. Biggs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on UP-25-05. If there is anyone here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak.
Hi, my name is Mississippi, and
Would you get the mic?
speak so loud, sorry.
We make sure you get on the record.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mississippi, and I am here on behalf of Green Lakes. My mother is a resident there, and I'm a Hampton City resident. I am remiss to speak as where I am really glad that they came forward and talked about the plan. I am a professional artist with a bachelor's degree. I work with the city Hampton. I've sat on committees and event coordination. One of the number one things that I hear is if this is going to be recalled in a month, I think it was so great of you guys to come here and tell the truth, but with having said words like copy and pasted, looked at other people's plans, we don't know what we're answering to. And I would like, before it comes into call and comes into vote, to have that plan really put there, and for you to have the fair chance too, for that thoughtfulness to be there, that it's not just copied and pasted. I think that's really important, or we could just have ideas and opinions against each other with no real growth. So I'm just going to switch to reading real quick. The site has 32. We heard 27. I don't agree or disagree with that. We'll go with 27 and 32 and the 125 patrons. Imagine 4 people per car. We don't know what we're going for. This result falls short more than 90 spaces, which would overflow into the neighborhoods. Being that we've seen such a strong presence from the neighborhood that they may not be interested in it, but we also don't know what we're not against, I'd hate to see a clash, a misunderstanding between patrons of the event or the neighborhood, either way, where I think that could definitely be an issue. Location incompatible with nearby residential zones. Once again, I'm remiss to speak, but from what I understand, there is the GMU as opposed to the other, I'm not looking at my notes. Give me 1 second. I wasn't ready to speak. Okay, so we had the, where are we at? The GMU as opposed to, we were going to change this to a different type of zoning. That was a big concern for mine. Let's see, let me read my notes real quick. 1 second, let me gather my thoughts so I'm not petering here.
And just for clarity, we weren't going to change it. We were just giving them a use permit to.
Okay, that was one thing I was a little confused about. Let's see. There was another thing that came up, the mixed-use corridor, as opposed to the GMU that it was zoned for, so I didn't know how that was going to work out. Apparently, there's a Build One Portsmouth plan that specifically says mixed-use corridors should support compatible transitions to the adjacent residential areas. So I don't know how those two things work together, just bringing those things up. And I feel like that's about it. I just want to make sure to represent these people, but I think a month is too soon. I think it should be longer, and I think that plan should really be put into writing. And good job on your website, because I found it all this morning, was able to come up with this much, so thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-05. If there's anyone else here who would like to address this application, you may come forward and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon. My name is Beverly Steinler, and I live on Nottingham. The gentleman that spoke before me, I'm pretty much going to echo what he said, but I do want to just say something regarding the gentlemen that came up that want to, really, I'm not sure if it's going to be a restaurant, which I would welcome, but as opposed to a nightclub where alcohol is going to be served, absolutely not, because the road, Nottingham, runs adjacent to this establishment. Arnold Palmer is directly across from it. We're just a tight neighborhood. We're a quiet neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way. But as for a restaurant, I'm all for that. So I just want to say, hey, welcome for the restaurant, but I'm not against the restaurant, but I am against the alcohol, or even till 2, because the previous owners of that building, there has been incidences where the Portsmouth police were called. There were gunshots in the neighborhood, in the parking lot. The parking did spill over into our neighborhoods, and I don't see how that's going to change if it is proceeded to go with the nightclub. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to address UP-25-05?
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good Oh, good afternoon. I'm sorry. My first day off. I live on Nottingham, right on the corner of Hodges Ferry and Nottingham. So I get it from both ways. Now I'm getting, when they...
I'm sorry, for the record, could you state your name as well?
Gregory Allen.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I test fuel, and I handle fuel, diesel fuel, jet fuel. So I'm up at all times of night, because when fuel comes up from Texas, it could be 2, 3 in the morning. And the last time they had something out there at that club, I don't know if it was those guys, but I was leaving like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was people coming. And when I tell you both sides of the street, they was cock at it. I mean, you know what I'm saying when I say cock at it, they was just parked crazy. They was, doing tick-tocking, and in the middle of the street, they was at the 7-Eleven, that was packed, and the police was sitting at 7-Eleven. So I'm like, so when is it illegal to do all of this? I mean, they walked across the street, they didn't care if they got hit. You better slow down for them. So I came back like 3:30 or something, and it was like the last of the cars leaving. But I'm like, do I need to go get me something to protect myself if something else happens like that? And I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning, and they out here partying. And I don't know, they might not drink in the club. They can take it in their car. You know what I'm saying? They can come tow up. So safety is my thing too. And my wife, she doesn't sleep very well. So it was like a cool night. So I had the windows up, and it's like no sleep. Did you hear that noise? I'm getting fussed at for them partying in the street. So, it's like, my more thing is, and I have a 3-year-old, so if he hear it, he can't get out the house, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'd be upset. So, that's my basic thing is, how they gonna control 4 or 5 streets? Because, like, I live right on the corner. So how you gonna control Nottingham? How you gonna control? The club is gonna be not responsible for this if anything happens out there. The police, you might see them an hour later. Everybody be gone by then. So, you know, you gotta look at it as a safety thing, and then you have to look at it as I'm gonna protect my family no matter what happens, because it was trash all up in my yard. It was trash down the side of my yard. It was trash in the street. And we had one couple, they go around, they pick it up, but I don't want to be picking up nobody else's trash. And for as far as it being a restaurant, they not the same people that had the restaurant at first. I went in there and ate. I ain't never went back. You know what I'm saying? So if your food ain't good, don't bring it to the neighborhood. So, you know, if they want us to come up there and support them, they have to support us too. You know, if you want me to come and eat there, you gotta get something done with protecting our streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-2505. If there's anyone else here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak. Is he the applicant? Thank you.
So, sir, being that you all came up as the applicants, and you will have the option to address again next month. We'll give you 60 seconds.
Okay, once again, I'm Charles, and I just want to make sure that everybody does understand what has happened in the past was in the past. We're coming to you forthright and
If you
honest.
can address the
I'm
commission,
sorry.
please. Yeah.
Basically, coming forthright and being honest, right? We are not those individuals. We are not responsible for what has happened in that. And our intent is to talk to the neighbors, okay? And as far as the narrative, it wasn't copied and pasted. It was thought put in. It was just used as a direction. Wrong direction, mind you, but it was thought put into it. And now even more, once we get the input of everybody from the HOA. But as far as safety, as far as consideration, I want everybody to know that's first and foremost, okay? And we're not to be thanking. As far as the food, I know what we got, and everybody's taste buds are different. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing on item UP-25-05. If there's anyone else here who did not get an opportunity to register and would like to address this application, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa Jones, and I live in the Green Lake community. I had written something, but as people are saying, it's like different things going on now, and it's not the same communication that I received about what's going on. And my question was, when I was sitting over there with my mom, would you want to live in a neighborhood where they have this going on? Okay? Would you want to do that? That's my question. I definitely want a restaurant. That would be really nice. But you're hearing what's going on. You're hearing, and we do that all the time. We sit and we act like everything is okay. But the reality is, all of you up there know what goes on. Everyone over here knows what goes on. If we were going to have a restaurant, that's wonderful. I think it is a restaurant there, but it's not really publicized. You know, I don't know. Sometimes it's a restaurant, sometimes it's closed. But to come up and say that it was an, let me read what I had written. I'm a resident in the Green Lake community. I would like to express my concerns about the entertainment establishment. That's what I got, the entertainment establishment, which are parties. And that's what was written, and he has apologized for that, but that was what was written. That wants to open in the Green Lake neighborhood, which I didn't know was already open because he's saying they were already doing a restaurant. So that's not the club, but that's what we've been told. I'm concerned about the dangers. That's the number one thing going on here in Portsmouth. Dangers. Shootings every day, every time we wake up. No, it's not. It's not the person who owns the place, but it's what comes into the place. And we know that. We sit around, we go to certain restaurants that we know nothing's going to happen. We're in a neighborhood where there are seniors live there. They're not young people that want to go out and party. And I think you're in the same types of neighborhoods. And we have to realize that we're in neighborhoods that we don't want foolishness. We want to be able to go to sleep. If we go to sleep at 8 o'clock, not 2 in the morning, not 3 in the morning, like that gentleman said, I don't know who he is, but that's awful. That's a concern. Let me finish what I was saying, what I've written before my time is up. I'm quite sure it's good intentions to want an entertainment establishment, but this is what destroys a quiet residential neighborhood. I don't even honestly know a residential neighborhood that has parties, that has an event building for parties. I don't know of any. Do any of you live in a neighborhood that has an event or party situation? Do you? Well, we don't want that either. And it's fine if you do. You know, everyone has their own opinion of how they want to live. But this is not the way, and I'm just not here for Green Lake community. I am a part of that, but I also hear someone from Nottoway, that other area. We already have problems with the 7-Eleven that's right next door to that. They robbed that place. A young boy was killed right there. No, it's not the establishment party, but we don't want to live in an area that could happen. That trickles into our neighborhood. We have a beautiful neighborhood, and that's how we want it to stay. The same way all of you live. That's the way we want to live. A restaurant, come visit it then. If that's what's going to be in the establishment, all of you should want to be there. The same way we would want to be there. But let's do it the right way. Let's stop pretending that, that's going to be really nice for y'all. No, what about all of us? Okay, let's get it real. Okay, I have 32 seconds, and I'm just finished right now. Okay, I'm watching the clock. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Is there anyone else here who would like to address UP-25-05? If it is, you may come forward, state your name and your address for the record, and you will have up to 5 minutes to speak. Appearing to be none. Mr. Miller, our attorney, I need to ask, can I keep the public hearing open since we're going to have a deferral of this item, so we're not going to re-advertise it for 30 days? I don't know if they're going to do 30 or 60.
You can keep it open.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the public hearing is closed. No, it's not. Pardon me. Okay, just making sure. Okay. Where am I?
So,
Before you close, can I ask a procedural question of the chairman?
yes, please.
Let him come to the.
Oh, if you could please come to the microphone to answer the question.
I have a procedural question,
Yes, sir.
and you, as the chairman, have a fiduciary responsibility for this.
I do.
Anthony Cooper told me Thursday afternoon that he had no knowledge of a requirement for a nightclub. He'd never seen the letter. I gave him a copy of the letter. I live right across the street. The gentleman today said, hey, this is not what we wanted. We were told by the Planning Commission this is what we had to ask for. My question to you, Mr. Chairman, is what's going on? If the customer doesn't want something, why does the planning office institute something the customer doesn't want and then push it up to you with false, misleading information to get the entire neighborhood stood up? That, sir, I don't understand. That's a good question you should investigate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, appearing to be no more speakers, we will not close the public hearing, but we are in need of a motion.
So before we get to a motion, I do want to give my fellow commissioners an opportunity to speak. Commissioner Johnson?
I have a couple of questions. Thanks. Can you hear me? All right, perfect. So I have a question. If they're staying open to wanting to stay open to 2 a.m., is it automatically considered an entertainment facility or no? I'm just trying to see if there's like some discrepancy because they asked to be open at 2 a.m. So somehow we automatically assumed it was a nightclub? Or there was...
And for a point of clarity, I don't think nightclub was in the proposal.
Okay.
That was an interpretation.
Scratch the word nightclub.
Yes.
Entertainment facility.
Right. So the opportunities, and you've considered both cases, an event space and an entertainment venue. An event space, and the reason why they couldn't propose a use permit for an event space is because they are the owner, operator, they would hold the license,
Okay.
where the event spaces, they're a landlord that is leasing the space out for temporary use, where that party is then responsible for everything. And the applicant is still here. That I wasn't aware that the applicant believed that they were misled by the planning department, and neither did the applicant say that to us. But that this allows us time to work with the applicant and try to refine that. However, as they are proposing the use, it is an entertainment use and not an event space.
Okay.
Okay?
My next question is, I live in that area, so I drive by that every day. I've wondered what it was, so is it currently operating as a restaurant? And when is it open? Because I sincerely drive by it every day. I live in that neighborhood. So is it open?
Please step forward to address that on the mic, please.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we have our permits for a restaurant, which we have, and all the other license for the restaurant to be open. The restaurant is a Caribbean, Jamaican cuisine.
Yeah, I see that from the sign.
Yes, and it is open. We've been open. We got our license and health permit and all of that. Like close to the end of March, beginning of April-ish
Oh, so
timeframe.
just now?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
This whole establishment is totally different and under new management. That's
Okay.
why.
That makes sense. I was confused about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you guys own the building next door?
No, we do not. That is owned by another company, another business. We have nothing to do with them.
Okay.
Commissioner Jiggets, you can just hang around for a second.
Okay, yeah, I will. Okay.
Thank you. I have to ask for the very first lady who spoke right here. You're in the front in the corner right here. If you would come back to the podium, because for some reason I could not hear you because your mic was sort of kind of up and away. And out of respect for all those participants,
You can be seated.
we want to hear everybody.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I was just saying, the letters that we got was for like a nightclub entertainment situation, and I'm not for that. We do live in a nice neighborhood. It's elderly people, including me, that, you know, there's no kids, we're off the highway. There's no reason to have an establishment that they want to do a nightclub. And now I'm confused on exactly what they want to do. Or they just want a restaurant, or do they just want a restaurant and a entertainment, night entertainment, you know, with karaoke, with that kind of thing? I'm just confused on all that. So I don't know exactly what they want now. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Commissioner Taylor.
Did you already ask your question? Okay, Commissioner Johnson.
There's been a question about a civic lease three times. And when we have these meetings, do we put it out to the public? I'm not good with this microphone. Do we put it out to the public that we're having this meeting?
Yes, yes.
So this would be a public notice, this would be the notice for people to come in and speak on it, right?
Yes,
Okay.
there are, Chairman G, we send out an individual notice to adjacent property owners. If you touch the property, that received a letter, and I believe that letter with the persons notified are included in the packet.
Okay.
There's a sign placed on the property with the meeting date.
The meeting dates, okay,
The
cool.
meeting date and time. And then there are the 2 public hearing advertisements that are published in the local paper.
Okay, that's all. Thanks.
We wouldn't be able to hear you again.
We're good.
Yeah, you're good, you're good. And I just wanted to speak to it really quick as well. I don't think there's, oh, Commissioner Melvin.
All I want to know is who pushed this nightclub narrative? Because it seems like the community did.
Well, a
Accidentally?
point of clarity, I think it's an issue of connotation versus denotation.
Correct. And
When they hear entertainment, it's thought of as nightclub, and that's not what legally an entertainment permit is looking for. It's just to do amplified music as the owners of the establishment.
correct, and that's what I wanted to bring out to the community, because this letter that Mr. Potter, I believe, a Debbie Gup mentioned, oh, this was some kind of club that, from what I could tell, and then Desmond Steele says it won't be the first club in that location. So that feels like someone assumed, like once they said that, assumed it to be a nightclub and entertainment. This member here just got there at the end of March, so it spills over to the street for the parking after the planning staff said that no one should be parking on Palmer and for the other street. So we haven't even given the owner a chance here. And then another member mentioned in the letters how property taxes will go down, which our planning staff recommend that it will not, that's based on sales of pricing. And even someone in the community, Desmond Stills again, they said maybe it's the community which allowed the property value to decline low enough to attract outside intruders. So this seems like there's a bunch of narratives here. Parking can always be corrected by planning staff if needs to be. When it comes to violent crime, you know, you say a lot of members come here, but I haven't seen any data that says in this area that, oh, more people, more crime. Members in your neighborhood going to the 7-Eleven, it wasn't from his establishment. So I'm just trying to figure out where the community can compromise with this owner once he recorrects his application to where both the community and the owner can have what they want, or at least some type of compromise where instead of 2 a.m., 12 o'clock, like we've been doing here in the past. So just very interesting, mixed views here. It does follow the comprehensive plan. Good question about what the chairman is supposed to do. Our job here, as you know, is supposed to carry out the comprehensive plan, which looks at future use matters. So that's, 20 years from now, right? You have commissioners on this board who live in your own neighborhood. So it's just very interesting. I just want to know, with concrete data and actual facts, not if this happens, why this man right here shouldn't have a entertainment establishment in the area. That's all. A lot of mixed opinions, but that's all I have to say.
Thank you. You can be seated. Thank you. I look forward to this probably being a very, very successful week for Yard Vibes Bickle, because I'm expecting all of your neighbors to come and meet you all and try some jerk chicken, and that's what neighbors are about. So we need to make sure that we meet each other. You're a new business. I encourage you all to outreach to your neighbors, do some direct mail, get some flyers and some menus so they know about your lunch specials. Guys, they had $10.99 lunch specials today. I just saw that on the website. Took me 15 seconds. I'm sorry. Yard Vibes, YAADVYBZ, Bickle, BIKKLE. So, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, let me correct. What it is, they are working for us.
Yeah.
As the restaurant itself is I'm Great LLC. That's the name of the restaurant.
So you're subletting the
Featuring-
restaurant to?
Yes, our chefs, that's what they go by. But they work for us.
So they have chefs that outsource, that cater as well and stuff like that, looks like. So I encourage you all to outreach to the community come by and see if, again, is it better than the restaurant that was there before? Is it food that'll be more enjoyable? This is an opportunity from both sides to really reach out to each other. And as we're gonna be opening this for another month, if you all are interested in hearing an update on this, there's the green forms that you could fill out that Director Russell's holding right there, and you will be provided an update as when this will be addressed again. I highly encourage that so that you all can have future information and give future feedback on this. Again, this item isn't closed, and we are also a recommending body. So even with these, will it go to the city council after us? So even after we make our vote, it still goes to the city council. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware that there's a few more steps to this, and you still have the opportunity to make your voices heard, as well as speak with the business to make sure that they are the neighbor that they should be to you all. So we will take a motion to delay till June 3rd meeting. I heard you guys press a button, it didn't work. Commissioner Johnson,
It won't let me click yes.
you can just go for it. I believe in you.
We need official motion.
Motion.
Oh, you have to take the full motion, just to delay it till
The
June 3rd.
motion to delay to June 3rd.
Oh,
That's deferred.
defer to June 3rd, I'm sorry.
Motion to defer to June 3rd.
Do we have a second? Commissioner Jenkins?
Second.
Oh, so we have a motion and a second to,
Okay.
it was Commissioner Taylor who seconded.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to delay till June 3rd. Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion and a second to defer. She's got denied.
It's frozen.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to defer our case UP-25-05 to our June the 3rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting, and you will be voting electronically. Our systems have been overworked a little today. So I'm going to do a roll call vote. As I call your name, please respond with a verbal response. Commissioner G?
Point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
You have posted denial.
The system is down. That's why I'm doing a roll call vote. Something just happened, it froze. Okay, we're going to, is it working now? Okay, it's back up. Thank y'all for your consideration. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Okay,
there it goes.
now we go. Okay, this item is deferred to our June the 3rd, 2025 meeting with a vote of 5-1. Okay,
Madam Secretary, I believe this concludes our agenda for today.
that is correct. Call her name. Where is she?
Planner Malzone, did you have any items for us as we close out?
The meeting isn't over yet.
We haven't concluded
we
yet.
haven't-
You all can just hold for
Yeah.
1 moment.
Where, Teresa, where is,
All right. So hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.